Imagine a world where stars and stripes no longer wave as the symbol of global supremacy. A world where the echoes of the Star-Spangled Banner fade into the annals of history, replaced by a new anthem, a new flag, and a new superpower. The very thought sends ripples through the fabric of our understanding of global politics. It's not just a shift in power, it's a transformation of the world order, a redefinition of leadership, and a new chapter in human history. But who will write this chapter? Who will take the pen from America's hand and etch their name in the pages of destiny? Is it the dragon of the East, the bear of the North, the tiger of the South, or the emerging powers of the desert lands? The answer is not just a matter of political chess, it's a question that will redefine our lives, our culture, our future. So, who's got next? 1. China. China's growing influence is undeniable. As the single most influential driver of geopolitical change today, it has caught the world's attention. But how mighty is China really? A recent analysis by Foreign Policy provides some insights. China's power position can be understood by comparing it to the contemporary United States and Cold War-era Soviet Union. While the United States is a pole, regional hegemon, and superpower, China is only a pole in the US-China bipolar system. It's neither a regional hegemon nor a superpower. In terms of economic power, China's aggregated economic wealth almost equals that of the United States. However, the gap in military might is larger now between Washington and Beijing than it was between Washington and Moscow during the Cold War. China spends a smaller share of its GDP on defense than the Soviet Union did. China's influence is largely limited to the Asian and Indo-Pacific theaters. It wields global economic power, but lacks the geographic reach of a true superpower. Its only overseas base is in Djibouti, and its naval facility is staffed with 400 Chinese Marines. Despite China's impressive rise, it remains a regional power. The United States and its allies will seek to prevent China from gaining regional hegemony. If China aims to become a superpower, it will need to leapfrog the geopolitical constraints of its home region. So, is China's path to superpower status a smooth one? Not quite. The confinement of the US-China rivalry in the Indo-Pacific region and the lack of true superpower status presents challenges. China's geopolitical position includes its lack of superpower status, has two main strategic implications. The US-China rivalry will be regional and predominantly naval, and any attempt by China to leapfrog the geopolitical constraints of its home region will define their rivalry. As we ponder China's future, we must ask, will China's regional power be enough to propel it to global superpower status, or will the constraints of geography and geopolitics keep it anchored in its current position? Speaking of regional power, Russia is another country that's been under the spotlight. 2. Russia. Russia, with its rich history as a superpower, is making a comeback. Under President Putin's leadership, Russia has reasserted itself on the global stage, flexing its military muscle in places like Ukraine and Syria. But is Russia truly a superpower? Some argue that its failing economy and reliance on oil and gas exports make it more of a regional power. Others point to Russia's sophisticated cyber capabilities and influence in global politics as evidence of its superpower status. Can Russia overcome its economic challenges and reclaim its place at the top? Russia's role in the Syrian conflict and its relationship with NATO are also significant factors. The country's efforts to modernize its military and its influence in former Soviet states add to its complex profile. Russia's path to superpower status is fraught with challenges, but its determination and strategic maneuvering make it a contender to watch. But while Russia is looking to reclaim its past glory, India is a nation looking to carve out a new future. 3. India. At number 3 is India. The world's largest democracy is a rising star with economic potential. With a young and growing population, a burgeoning tech industry, and a strategic location between the East and West, India is well positioned to become a global superpower. But challenges such as poverty, corruption, and social inequity remain. The recent summit between India and China and the economic growth prospects are indicative of India's ambition. Will India's democratic values and entrepreneurial spirit propel it to superpower status, or will internal changes hold it back? India's efforts to strengthen its military, its role in international organizations like the BRICS, and its relationship with neighboring countries like Pakistan add layers to its profile. The country's investments in renewable energy and its efforts to balance relations with the US and Russia are also noteworthy. India's journey to superpower status is filled with promise and pitfalls, and its success or failure will have global implications. While India's path is filled with promise, Dubai's journey is one of ambition and audacity. 4. Dubai. This one might be a little unexpected, but Dubai, a part of the United Arab Emirates known for its dazzling skyscrapers and luxurious lifestyle, could also become a superpower. Some argue that the UAE's military intervention and strategic alliance are signs of its growing influence. The UAE's investment in its military strength and its role in regional politics are noteworthy. But questions about human rights and the sustainability of its economy linger. Dubai's efforts to diversify its economy, its investments in renewable energy, and its role as a global financial hub add to its profile. The city-state relationship with neighboring countries and its efforts to position itself as a mediator in regional conflicts are also significant. Dubai's path to superpower status is uncharted territory, and its success or failure will be a fascinating story to watch. From the glitz and glamour of Dubai, we now turn our attention to the rich and influential land of Saudi Arabia. 5. Saudi Arabia. And lastly, in the complex landscape of the Middle East, Saudi Arabia is asserting itself as a force to be reckoned with. The kingdom's recent actions reflect a new assertiveness and a willingness to deploy unprecedented force in the name of stability. Faced with Iranian meddling in Yemen and elsewhere, Saudi Arabia has put together a coalition of 12 countries and launched a massive military campaign, dubbed Decisive Storm, to counter the advances of the Houthi rebels in Yemen. The implications of the Yemeni crisis on Saudi national security are tremendous. The prospects of an Iranian-backed Shia militia taking over Yemen was a clear red line for the kingdom. With so many new threats emerging in the Arab world, it has been vital for Saudi Arabia to establish a new defense policy, one that secures its borders while providing the ability to prosecute two military campaigns simultaneously. Nevertheless, Operation Decisive Storm illustrates the powerful firepower the Saudis now have at their disposal. King Salman ordered the deployment of 100 advanced fighter planes, 150,000 troops, and numerous ground and sea assets, making it the most powerful combined military force assembled by any Arabian country for decades. But Saudi Arabia's ambitions go much beyond military might. Its economic, financial, and energy strengths. The kingdom intends to invest $150 billion in developing and expanding its military strength, and in 2014, it passed France and the United Kingdom to become the world's fourth largest defense spender. As the Arab world goes through historical upheavals, Saudi Arabia is emerging as the region's most powerful state. The new government in Riyadh is giving serious consideration to how it should respond to the many challenges that have arisen. A key element of this new Saudi defense doctrine is to bolster relationships with key strategic partners in the Arab world. This new assertive defense posture will need to be flexible and adaptable to the constantly changing realities of the Middle East. But if there is ever to be peace in the Arab world, it is vital that Saudi Arabia remains both a strong and secure nation-state and the anchor of stability for a region facing epic upheavals. In the grand theater of global politics, a new act is about to begin. The old guard is changing, and the world is holding its breath, waiting to see who will take center stage. This brings us to the end of this video. If you liked it, Please consider subscribing and sharing so we can keep bringing more content like this. See you next time.